Beloved, this is the Culture and Camaraderie podcast, the most thought-provoking, introspective, industrious, creative discussion. My guy, Tiberius.
Yo. What?
Yo, this is a bit wild right now, bro.
It's a little bit different.
It's a bit different.
A little bit cozy.
Yeah, fam. Like, this is not our usual positions at all. But whatever. Oh. Did I say the whole thing?
Yeah.
I am DJ
you didn't do
from
that.
NYTypicial.net. Shout out to Suede House for
We in the Suede House
production
right
needs.
now. We in the Suede House right now. This very moment.
If you can tell, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see us.
Alright.
But now, fam. Alright, so what do we want to get into? Because obviously,
Should we have a little
man's
look
been
at the
learning
agenda?
Jaggedy yaggedy, fam. Higgity haggedy. With the intros and that.
What is on the agenda? On the agenda, there's a lot to talk about. Man, we've actually got too much to talk about. Well,
What do we want to start
we
with?
can
Music?
either start with music, we can either start with a documentary, or we can start with some interviews and speeches.
Isn't the documentary music?
I think,
Related.
yeah, it is music. Yeah, I guess so. We can either start with music, or we can have a more culture-related podcast.
Yeah, alright, bless. So, we'll start with the doc then.
Yeah? Alright.
Yeah, fam.
Start with a doc. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I watched it. It was it's sick. It was sick.
What doc are we speaking
Oh,
about?
was there a couple docs? What?
No, I mean...
There was only one doc. Oh yeah, Kano. Sorry, man. Kano's documentary. It was a bit
Yeah, for Hoodies All Summer.
Yeah.
Was it Hoodies All Summer? Yeah, fam.
Yeah, no, it was it was sick because like just to see the process and all the people involved, it was nuts, and just to hear him talking about it, and just everything he was up to, for the whole process. Yeah, it was cool, man. And just the stuff with the Gucci
Yeah, the
slippers.
Gucci... Yeah.
The Gucci slippers.
I
was
love that, fam. That was British as fuck, bro. Like, I'm so particular about that. See, the waviest thing about Gucci slippers is that when you think about like old school, like garage days and all of that stuff, like there's this one, I don't know whether you know about it, but on Rick Ross's mixtape or something called Rich Forever, he's got this one guy spitting a poem and that, and it's like something about it's raining outside. Damn, I literally forgot it. Like two Todd loafers, like $200 a pair. You did the math. Oh man, that guy was so sick. And yeah, that when I think about like old school Britain, that's like the main thing that I think about. Like just trying to swag out in like the most minimalistic way, but directly saying that I'm here. Like you got the chops. But yeah, fam, like I was even thinking
for me, it was more just like how it wasn't even really about what they was trying to. It wasn't even about necessarily making. Obviously, with whatever you want to create, you want it to be as successful as possible. But like that was just the greatest example for me of just how they made like the whole process like fun and memorable, and it was something that gave their music a particular kind of energy,
Yeah.
Like it was something that just helped all of them connect, It was
that's what I mean by
all
British,
about the energy,
fam. Like, because all of them lived through that, innit? They lived through that era where you like kind of swagging out on the shoes is like one of the top form like yardy British things. Like you wear your Clarks or you wear your Doc Martens, like if you were in that scene. Like it was about the Airwalk, so it was about the Clarks, or it was about what's the other ones, fam? There's one more crep that's like real British. Like there's Clarks, there's Docs, and like it's not Hunters, but like the other one. But yeah, it's like I just like because I was speaking about the scene, like, because I was speaking about to some guy from Barbados, shout out Tony and Swimming Pigs, because he didn't know about like the early like 2000 to 2010, and like that was like the major British that was that time right there, and like I was man, all of that time's like just so deserving of like showing, but obviously like if you're new, you won't even think about that, like you won't even think about those little niche things like. And obviously when I think about fashion, I think about stuff like that, like just swagged out kicks and like matching tracksuits. Like now we kind of do that with like with the Adidas tracksuits or the Nike track tech fleece, and then you wear either like Ultra Boost or ZX Flux or something like what the uni kids used to wear, or even like the Air Force Ones. Like obviously the Air Force Ones are still like a massive thing, like all white Air Force Ones still a massive thing, but genuinely it's like British, like doing that is British, like no matter what, matching tracksuits British, like velour tracksuits British, and like but yeah, like that whole epic tale or saga or whatever you would like to call it, it was just like it was just talking about, like, to me it was talking about the British experience more than anything. And like that's what I care about. I care about that mix and blend. Like even when he was speaking about Kojo Funds and like him being on the album and him being like a special mix of like the Yardie mix with like the Africa mix with like the British like lingo and all of that stuff, like that melting pot going all into one. And these guys really being about that, like that right there. Because was it the last time I was here we were speaking about that?
What? About what specifically?
About just like things being British. Like when I was talking about what Jesse James Jenkins was like on One Way, on that One Way track. Wrong way. Like remember us on that bendy bus?
No, that wasn't here.
Yeah.
That was at yours.
No, that was here.
Was it here?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
With Ali and Anton, they were all there.
Oh,
it was in your kitchen. And then
in
your living room.
No, it was, but we wasn't. No, because I was thinking when we done the podcast here that time.
There's like just talking about all like that stuff in particularly. Like when we talk about remember us on that bendy bus, like, and that's such a funny bar, but it's such a British bar at the same time. It's like you remember times on bendy buses, and they're not around no more. And if you wasn't in Britain around that time, then you won't know about that one particular thing. And like, I love things that are just so local to London and then Britain. And like when we talk about even Savile Row and I go straight to fashion and then like straight to the locale, like the city bikes or like the Santander bikes or whatever you want to call them. Like all of that stuff is pure British. Like, and I enjoy that, fam. I enjoy being like a mix of many things. I enjoy that, bruv. So what's next then after
the albums,
talk
man?
About, like Class of Deja and all of that stuff.
The albums. Should we stay British? HUS.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh fam. Yo, I've got so much to say, but yeah.
They thought they could take him down. They thought they could finish him off.
You start, fam, because I am here for it now.
Yeah, no.
I swear.
Oh yeah, it was sick. It was sick. It's just sick. And even like before I even go into the actual album, like the way that HUS handled the leak, it was just like, you know, I gotta commend that. The IG stunt, and like, cause someone put it in my. Do you actually know what happened? I got sent to me by one of these guys.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, that came into my inbox, and I was like, I'm not listening to
any of that. Yeah, that's literally what I did. Do you know what? Because I started playing the one with Coffee, Relentless, and then
sorry about that.
And then I was like, do you know what? This ain't right.
Yeah, it's not
like,
right, bro.
Like I was like, this isn't right.
Yeah, man.
I was like, this isn't right. This isn't right.
I said to myself, like, as soon as it dropped, like, cause I slept, like, cause obviously, I finished working on Thursday. Got a trim. It was Friday now. Was it Friday? Was it? Yeah, it was Friday morning. It came out. I just like, I went to I started playing it. Went to the shop. Took a stroll. I was just like doing like the most normal things while I was sitting in my room, and from sitting in my room I went outside and I done all of that. Like I bought my crisp, my drink and my chocolate and that. And I was coming back home and I was doing work and I was just like, this album is so sick, fam. But then like I went on Twitter, innit? And like obviously you're gonna get the scrutinizers, innit? And like because
in what way?
I don't follow any, like, because okay, so basically the culture on Twitter is when an album drops, as soon as it drops, people make Twitter threads about them. So
Twitter's such a weird place, man.
So like
it's so funny though, because there was people on Twitter who were first like sort of defending it, saying like, why would you even listen to it? Like, why would, like, the, you know, it's like they was like, nah, fuck that, I ain't listen to that shit.
Genuinely, I was like
as in they weren't listening to the leaks.
Oh,
that's the first people I see jumping out going, nah, fuck that, I ain't listening to that.
Okay,
but
like no,
like
I wasn't on like no, I wasn't on Twitter for all of that. On that space, I wasn't on there. Like I wasn't on Twitter. Like I'm barely on like my main Twitter now. I'm usually on like my smaller Twitter.
The scrutinizers Twitter.
No, I was on my fashion Twitter.
Okay.
And my YouTube Twitter, basically, Aura of Night and all of that stuff. So I just took my time, and then like on the day, like obviously you see people talk about deeper than rap, and we'll get to that. But people are like, it's not that good, and I was like, see, and this is the thing, like when I get to like other artists and that, like they see, here's the thing about musical artists in the UK, yeah, these man annoy me, fam.
What do you mean?
Like this is the main thing. It's like, why?
What was it? A musical artist you heard saying that? You
Pardon?
saw saying that?
Yeah, it was just a couple musical artists. Like they were like, there's like I think, like someone tweeted like HUS has like this sound that he brings out and all of that stuff, and obviously me, being the person of the UK, and that I was like I'm gonna agree with that because I listen to all the sounds in the UK. But somebody else also tweeted, HUS, well, there's so many different sounds in the UK that doesn't get the shine that they deserve, and I'm like, listen, if your music deserves the shine, fam, one, there's no such thing as a popping artist in the UK that I don't know about. There's no way that a popping artist, like a really good one, that's gonna go underappreciated on my watch. So I know all of them first and foremost. So no one can really say that. But in defense of JS, I'm like, him and J5 created and cultivated a sound and are growing it. So where anybody else is coming with this jagons that there's underappreciated, like, yeah, fam, literally, if you have a sound like, and this the thing, this my other thing, it's like
unique as hell.
You can't be a subpar artist with like subpar music out and then start talking about JHUS. Because now what am I to think when you come out with a tune that's not as good as whatever JHUS has come out with?
Yeah.
So
and then
now,
there's no energy towards like.
So am I supposed to now scrutinize
wanting you to grow instead of like, oh, I can see where they're at, but I want them to like.
Exactly.
My energy is I want them to grow. Instead, it's like, but you're just rubbish anyway.
Exactly. So now artists put me in a predicament where I can't say anything. Like, what am I to do with your music?
Yeah,
that's a derivative of other sounds.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't say it is. If he doesn't like it, or if he's not jiving or he's not fucking with it, like he also has a place to say that. Was it more in a way he said it?
Fam, honestly,
because if he thinks it's rubbish, if it's not that good,
first of all, JHUS's album, there's no saying that JHUS's album isn't that good. Like, I can't even stand for that. As a UK artist, he has one of the better UK sounds.
No, 100%. But
so you like they're saying that you like his Common Sense album better. There's that, but then saying that it's not good. Bro, man, like
yeah, but
don't get me annoyed. Wait.
No, but see, like I just don't get why you can't say it is. I just don't get why you can't say it isn't good, or you don't like it.
Pardon?
I like
as an artist in the UK.
You're allowed.
Why you can't?
You're allowed to.
When someone in the UK is growing a sound in the UK, and you can't like. Here's the thing. You're not making anything better, and I've seen everybody else's. So if you are making something better, I would say that.
So you think you only have a place to criticize things if you're making something better?
No, if you're in a growth space in your music, and you know your music is better. There's no space in you being an artist, because now I'm just thinking you're hating. Because you can't now be a musical artist and dislike another musical artist thing when your shit isn't as popping. Because that is like a definition of hating. You can't be saying your music isn't popping, but now you want to be in a space to criticize.
But what if you actually just don't like it?
What do you mean?
What if you just don't like the album? You genuinely don't think it's good? You think that's not a possibility? I'm just interested. I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I'm just interested.
I don't think like you can think that saying it is a completely different thing.
Well, is it though? If you're sharing your opinion, you're sharing your opinion in the discourse, because that's what Twitter's about. It's a conversation. No,
it's not. It's a one-sided conversation.
Wow. But see, now it's
because you have to have the perception of a great artist in the UK. If all the other great artists in the UK aren't like if you are in the minority of the opinion in the UK of good music, like because what you're saying isn't taste making. Like, you can't qualify yourself as a tastemaker by saying that his music isn't good.
Oh, what? So are you saying you can't just say it's not good, you have to validate your point as to why it's
You're not, yeah, exactly.
Why it's not good.
Yeah.
As in if you saying, have, well, this guy's better.
If you can substantiate what your claim is, then yeah. But you can't.
I feel you.
You can't. Like, you've got
to back it.
On a genuine...
Like, you've got to back it. Like, if he came across and put, well, do you know what? I just think all the beats or the way that you know what I mean, or like the way like what he was talking about on a lot of these songs, they weren't really you know what I mean?
That would be impossible.
Yeah.
And that would be impossible. It's actually improbable to say that about J Hus's music. The music on the album. Well, J Hus's music in general, but that album as an album, like when we start, like if we want to get into album dissection and then talk about Big Conspiracy and then certain songs like Helicopters, Triumph,
that was a tune.
Deeper Than Rap.
Who's that? Who was the feature that's on there? Ice. What's her name?
I don't even know. Give me 2 seconds.
Because she was on 2 songs.
I'll find it. What are you talking about? The person that was on the first 2 songs?
Yeah, Helicopter and what's the
what?
first
Ice TGM.
Yeah.
Like Big Conspiracy is the first tune, and you got Play by Burna Boy. Like, saying that out Love, Peace and Prosperity stole that from me, obviously. No, but yeah, fam. No.
Fraud.
How can you substantiate? Okay, you know what? This is a podcast. Tell me why, or a space and time where someone can say that this music isn't good.
A space and time where someone
that's
a weird place to ask it.
Well, say.
Are you talking about albums in general, or a space and time where someone could say this album isn't good?
This album right here.
A space and time where they
tell me what is terrible about the album.
I wouldn't say it's.
Tell me what's so terrible that can say this is a bad album.
It's hard because even though, like,
of course it's hard.
It is hard. Like, look, I personally like the album. It wasn't like my favorite album of the year. Like, I wouldn't say it's like. It's hard for me to say, oh, this is going to be in my like top 5 of the year. But it was like a good album. Like, I enjoyed quite a few of the songs on it. Helicopter was hard. What is it with Burna Boy? Play was a hard tune.
I'm not with the play.
Even the one with Mo Stack. and there was another one. Because this is the thing. When I listen to a new album, I don't necessarily look at the songs. I tried to make more of a conscious effort to look at the songs this time. But I just had it on my speaker.
I didn't listen to the album, but I could tell.
Like the beats, like even what was the one?
What is your reasons why like?
Oh no. I'm just giving my, because I'm just going through some of the songs for why that I liked. But I genuinely like the album. But if I was gonna say one thing that someone could possibly like, if I was playing devil's advocate,
and the devil don't need an advocate,
right? The thing that I would probably say about it is that because me personally, me personally, I'm nitpicking. Me personally, I like it when, because obviously when you're making an album, like you're gonna have different songs telling different stories, but like sometimes the way certain songs flip between different subject matter, sometimes it throws me off. Like I might be in a certain story, a certain vibe, and especially with one that's like that, and when one might be actually telling tune? More. I cut, but that's why I was kind of going through the tunes. There might be some tunes where he's talking, and at the end of the day, he's telling his truth, you know. But one minute he's talking about, you know what I mean, being on road, doing this, doing that, and then he'll be talking about more uplifting stuff, you know, about the culture and how he's.
I talk about deeper than rap.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and I know it's like an overall. I know it's like it all changes, and this is me nitpicking because I it's for me it's always a little thing. It's like, for example, on Snow Allegra's album, when she'll be talking about how like, oh, that means nothing to me. You're the one that wants me around, and then it will go to a song where it's like, I want you around, like, you know what I mean? It's like weird little things like that. That's genuinely a nitpick. Like if I had to dig deep as to why someone might not like it or why
a flip is a nitpick. A natural song progression where you're like, where you do the contrary thing and be like, even though you're not like, even though I don't. Like,
no, because they're not. Then the story isn't continued between those two songs, you know. And I know that's not necessarily what a concept album is. Like you've got different stories in an album. I get it, but that's just something me like. I like it when I see that the songs like are sit together. For example, Solange's. I think Solange done that. The reason why I like that album so much, A Seat at the Table, was because of how cohesive it was. You know, like. That's just an example. That's just the word
cohesive when you're talking about albums is just one of those words that you're allowed to say, and then like people will be like, oh
no, I'm being serious. No, because if you look at Solange's album, if you actually look at it and look at it, if you listen to it and you just see how it progresses and the way. It's just like all the songs relate to each other in one way, like the subject that the whole album's about, the concept of the whole album is thematic. Encapsulated, you know? And that's me personally. But that's what I would define as a great album. And if I was going to say...
a continuity, and because of the contradictions in the UK culture / black culture, there has to be those contradictions to fully encapsulate the UK experience.
No, 100%. And that's why I said, me personally, that won't ever make a bad album for me. Snow Allegra's, for example, when I made that example of using Snow Allegra, that was still, that was probably in my top 3 of last year.
I don't know how someone can sit down and say,
listen
to the album and say this is a bad album. First
listen. That's why, if I had to dig deep into why, because...
Maybe you know, on it might be 50th listen, 6 months down, or like the 12th listen after you haven't heard it for a while, and then you go back to it and it's like, no, this album doesn't have replay value. Then, okay, now we can start having a conversation. But the day it came out, you're saying this is a bad album.
Yeah,
I'm not speaking to you.
Yeah, you can't really. I don't know. It's so. Then we've got to have a discussion of what defines a bad album. We've got to have a discussion about what defines.
No, we don't.
No. I want to talk about what
a bad album is a bad album.
What defines a bad album? Is it just how it feels? Is it just the tracks didn't bang? Is there no story?
A bad album's a bad album.
Mm.
A bad album's like a bad album. Like there's a whole
Yeah,
lot
but
of things
music
that
is
go into
subjective, man.
albums.
This is what's so funny. Like,
No, you like saying that, but it's like not really. Like there's good albums and then there's bad albums. Like there's a very absolute line between good and bad.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
And then like when you start want to talk about classics and like culturally defining, that's when it's like subjective, quote unquote. But when like there's a line between good and bad. There's a definite line between this album is in the good range and then saying that this album's in the bad range in the absolute terms of good and bad. And like when you're saying off first listen, you're saying this album's bad. You haven't even sat with it to use another music industry term. You haven't lived with it to use a third industry term. Like you haven't done any of that, but you wanna jump out, jump the broom, jump the gun, do all of them things there, and be that type of person that says that. And now you want me like, and then you can't substantiate your evidence.
The contrarians live on Twitter, though, man. All the contrarians live on Twitter.
I can't allow, as someone that supports UK music fervently, I can't allow somebody to be like that. In my presence, at least, like without substantiating your claim. That is it. Like that is the one thing. Like if we can sit down and have like a normal discussion about why you got points where this album is bad, and then it's like, okay, like then I can listen to you, and then like that thought really lives with you. But then if you're out here just saying it's bad just to like make people feel a type of way, then I've got to feel a type of way about your opinion now. And then if you're a musician now saying this, and then your music isn't on the echelon of goods, man. Yeah. Anyways, outside of that discussion, fam, literally, well, we're talking about like deeper than rap, because that was part of the conversation. Like deeper than rap is it's definitely one of those tunes that it's like Spirit on his last album. Oh, not Must Be, but Deeper Than Rap is literally one of those tunes that's like, it's like it makes you feel the spirit of the UK, to use a term he used in his other album, Common Sense. Like, cause when like even though we never had a penny, we always had spirit. Like that's a bar. And then when he like, cause obviously I heard Deeper Than Rap, and then I immediately thought about Rick Ross's album, innit? And then I was like, okay, what's this song gonna be around? And people started talking about it on Twitter, and then like I shut off Twitter because like I hate seeing like
stuff you hate seeing,
and then
like,
it
ideas
affects my mind
and
stuff like that. And I rarely even like speaking about albums as soon as they come out, but when
that's why I'm glad I didn't
like
see anything on the internet about the album before I listened to it. Like,
but when an album like this is so engaging, and I didn't even know that, like, because when I was listening to it and I wasn't looking at the track list at first, and then like Deeper Than Rap came on, I was like, oh, this guy's going into when he's talking about the bleaching of the skin and all of that stuff, and like he's talking about he's a real man, why is he preaching for, and all of that stuff. It's like, oh, you're like hitting the notes, because obviously I don't know whether you've been on Twitter recently, but HUS is going through this like woke period.
I've seen it bare.
Yeah, and like it's definitely one of those like it's like one of those intriguing moments. Like Kanye West went through it as well as going through it, I should say, where he's like trying to understand the history, and like because I see that like when I was 22-ish, like I was going through it, but at the same time when I was 22, I was like, I'm not gonna say anything about all of this stuff, even though me and you were forced to have discussions about it. I'm not gonna speak about the wokeness or just being aware of history, because that feeds into the conversation about cornrows that we had. I don't know, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It was last week, where it was like the Comme des Garçons show had like cornrows on it, and it's like oh man, because I was speaking to a good person, a nice friend, the other day, and like cold word. And like, obviously, when we start speaking about black hairstyling and like cornrows and, you know, saying why people have done it before and why people have had dreads, it's like, this isn't the show. This isn't the show for that, obviously. And like, man, cause I just get so like, there's only African terms to like explain what it makes you feel like when people do that. Like, but yeah, people just get into your head about all of these type of things. But when we're talking about black women, when we're talking about 4C hair, when we're talking about protective hairstyling, when we're talking about all of these things, and then like you're comparing it to wearing wigs, and then the European standard of beauty and all of that stuff, it's like, and then obviously certain people in question don't even find black beauty attractive like that. And then it's like, okay, so you don't like, because I wrote this in an article, innit? It's like, does even the fashion industry have an understanding of black beauty, or do people even care? Like when we talk about casting, when we talk about hair and makeup, like my friends even today that are in the modeling industry go through this, innit? And it's like, so the industry is still not like, let alone cornrows. Like when we're talking about styling, when we're talking about makeup for shoots to make sure like the skin is right and people don't look like vampires, and when we're talking about having the right makeup for someone's face, and then now you want to start talking, anyways. I'm not on it because yeah, fam, yeah, like, because at the end of the day, I also said this yesterday, like, black women are only looking for us to listen. Like, and understand. They're not looking for us to like rebut or like find the excuse or like find the way out or find like the winning proposition. It's like, sometimes just listen to your women's woes. But obviously certain black men don't want to do that. And then obviously other certain black women are like, yeah, that anyways, it's fine. It's not fine.
You gotta understand, innit?
But I'm not prepared to have
understand.
that conversation with people that aren't black and don't appreciate when we talk about when we talk about hair like yours and hair like mine, and then like hair that kinks that way. Yeah, fam. No, I'm not like, we are not going to play that game where you don't appreciate that beauty on a woman. Personally, to me, at least, anyways, like you're not having that conversation with me. And me and you are not gonna agree on that stage. So like, because we haven't even got to an understanding of where you care about black women, let alone like want to see certain hairstylings on them. Because if a black girl was to just wear a natural hair like Leanne is doing on Love Island or something, and like just rock around like that, yeah, fam, leave it alone, bruv. Leave black women alone.
Message.
What's the next topic, fam? What's the next topic, fam?
The next topic, well, we got one more album to talk about.
Okie dokie. Leave black women alone, fam. Yeah, what's the next one?
The next topic is, we could talk about Modus Vivendi.
Go on, then. Introduce me to them.
Right. Did you listen to it all?
Of course.
070 Shake. I heard a couple singles of hers like in 2017. I think she had a project that I heard. Like it was cool. It was alright. It was still like it wasn't like it. I wasn't like, oh, it didn't necessarily catch my eye, but you could tell she had sort of a unique, or catch my ear. Sorry. You could tell she had sort of a unique. Whoa. A unique approach, like a unique sound. But this one was really interesting because you can tell she's a good music artist just with the sort of like the sonics.
Yeah, man, she's doing her thing, bruv.
And from what I've heard before from a couple of the songs, like there's sort of been a real interesting it's like she's had a real interesting development. And I find it so funny because it's like, it's almost the same thing I get with Jay Huss and what he's doing with his production, like him and J5 are doing with their production. And how some of the sounds aren't necessarily the most, like they might be some sounds that are quite standout and quite jarring in the sense that they're not like, they don't necessarily fit in with the current sonic landscape of everything else, and they might sound like not particularly, I can't think of a word, like it's not that they sound cheap, that's not it, but the way that they'll use the sounds and the melodies, that they're sound quite silly or quite playful, and the way they've made it work in the context of the whole production is just creative.
Like, clarting it off.
What do you mean?
Like that tune, Clarting.
Oh no!
Like Clarting it off. What's the other one? Plotting. That's the one.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
and yes, plotting.
Yeah. Like we didn't think that was the beat that was gonna go under that at all.
No, it's nuts.
So like it came from a different angle for real that time.
But
so,
it's just with the sonics. Yeah, sorry, I'll bring that back round. But just the way that they use the sonics to make the, like, in a particular way, it's nice. And with Mimoda's Fendi, there was like one tune where it's like they had the bongos, and it was coming in at the beginning of the tune. I'm like, where the fuck is this song gonna go? And I was like, and then when it comes in, and even with just the melodies, it's like it's sort of floating in that space where it's kind of like 80s sounding, but still sort of modern. It almost reminded me of a mashup between The Weeknd and Travis Scott. Like if there's anything that I could closely... Bongos. Yeah, it sounds... No, because... No, it's not the bongos that defined it. That made me define it as Weeknd / Travis Scott. It's more like everything else, like the actual production and just... Yeah, man, that was just a beautifully composed album.
Yeah.
I thought it was lit. Just from that.
Composed. Are you trying to think of new music industry terms?
No.
Define albums, fam.
I just need words, bro. This is the words I'm using. Look at this guy.
No,
he's Call Out King, innit?
Obviously.
What did you think of it? What was that? Have you that song good. Morrow? Oh man, that was hard.
Morrow is man, it sent me still. Not gonna lie, I first heard it on like Joe Budden's podcast, didn't it?
Oh, did he play it on his podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, and obviously like you know me, like at the end of the day I'm still a contrarian, so I'm like, what's this song about really, fam? Like I'm not gonna like it just because Joe Budden says it. Yeah. But in the end, it was like okay, and the way it came in, like, cause it's the third track on the album, innit? So the way it came in after the second tune, and I forget the name of the second tune, but like
the second tune. Oh, yeah,
the first two were like, yeah, fam. You know when you're just like grooving to an album, like obviously that album's like late night walks or something. Yeah, or you're having a coffee at night, not a coffee, sorry, a tea at night just before bed, or like burning your incense, or you're burning a spliff, like whatever your poison is. But like for me, it's like walking outside late at night when there's like no cars on the road, and like I adore walking the middle of the road, like a lot of the time. So it just feels like
that's the visual.
Like that. Yeah, it feels like just me walking in the middle of the road, like just being able to like sing a song or like that song's not one that I sing, that's one that I vibe to, but like there's other songs that like feels like standing in the middle of the road just singing it and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just like, okay, this is good. Like, oh man, so I listened to it and like it was a short album as well, so like it blitzed all the way back around, and that was my sense of the album, because like my walks are quite long, innit? So I listened from the top to the bottom, and it came back around tomorrow, and I was like, oh my gosh. And like just suddenly it was like I can listen to this album over and over and over again, and like by the fifth time I'm like, yo, stop. Like I can't, like I don't want to ruin this album for myself, like by listening to it like over and over again too many times. And like obviously when I listen to songs, I remember the picture in my head when I first listened to it. So when I listen to Deeper Than Rap, I know exactly where I was in the road when like I first saw the name Deeper Than Rap, and like was listening to the tune at the same time. I like just the route I was taking while I was walking in it. So yeah, like it was just one of those ones. Like I see the road like when I'm listening to 070 Shake. So like that's just the sensibility of the album. It's like just it's touching at the same time. Like I don't know what like her sexuality is or whatnot, but like some parts it like felt like she was talking about a girl.
Oh no, she definitely was, but she's
And
done
then-
that in her, all her music, like all her music.
But yeah,
Because even the songs I've heard of hers before, she's
like I don't know precisely what
Yeah.
like what she has going on, but like I could relate to it.
It was
That's the main
interesting.
thing.
It was yeah, you're right. You know, I can't remember what song it was, but she was talking about when she went into a club and she was like, "The guilt left me" or something like that. I can't remember what she was saying, but it was like she's obviously walked into that club having done her own madness,
Yeah.
and as soon as she's seen her girls doing the madness, it's like,
fam.
oh yo, that's crazy.
See, yeah, that's like it's just different, fam. Certain artists
Yeah.
just that's
It's interesting. It's
certain
interesting.
artists are just different. Like,
Just
'cause
catch her
obviously,
mood. Yeah.
Like, and it's just funny the way that we bounce from like Kano to HUS to like 070 Shake, and they all have like completely different sounds, but are all good music.
Mm.
Like, and
But that's why I'm talking about this, like, because no matter how, because anyone can make a sonically good tune, right? Anyone can. No, because it is, because it's like what you've literally got breakdowns of math of how to make something sound sonically good. All the chords are there. There's only 7 notes, you know, but it's how all that stuff is told through a story.
And that's how you
It's a
can
mood
tell
and
I'm
a story.
contrarian.
Yeah,
because
it's a mood
I
and
wanna-
a story.
I want to dispute that so hard.
Because-
like, in my
because-
spirit.
because
I wanna be like,
that's what I'm saying. The good music is beyond the sonics. It's beyond the sonics. Like and I don't know much about what's the name? 070 Shake. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah,
really looked into it much.
Yeah, no.
But I just know with
I've just
Kano.
listened to a lot of her songs, and with like, and
Yeah.
she's just like
But you can tell there's a
places where-
process. You can tell
places
there's
where
a process.
like I was like, oh, she's on this song, and it's like, okay, like, yeah,
She was on Khaled's song. One of Khaled's songs.
it's alright. See, like all of that stuff is like, okay, so she's on like music that I like, and I like her music, but it's like she's not like one of the artists that I go straight to. But this album I go straight to. Like I dive into this album, it's like, oh, she got a sound. She's got like a soundscape, and her music is a great escape from the conventions of what we care to think about. So like you can just release yourself of the worries, like, you know, like how you got party tracks, it's like forget your woes. Like this music is like it whisks you away from your woes basically. And like that's just, it's adorable. It's like
Is that you try not to use industry terms?
no, that's like the word for it.
It's adorable.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you can adore that. Like when it's like not like her tunes aren't party tunes. It's like
No, I feel you.
100,000 on a big ring on a little ring, a little bit. Like it's not that. It's like okay, like she's talking about her worries, but the sound is taking you up and away from whatever you were thinking about, and it's putting you into the music, and it's just so, yeah, it's adorable, fam. That's my word for
It's
it.
adorable.
That's my word for it, and that's not like because obviously a lot of people think I'm being facetious and stuff whenever I say words, but that I would say her music is a definition of that word.
That was it.
All right then, this has been the
was it.
Culture and Camaraderie podcast.
Oh, we had all that, but we
What?
kind of talked about. We had all those other albums. We talked
No, it's
about.
calm.
them.
It's
we
calm.
actually
It's calm.
don't.
It's calm.
We hit all topics. We hit every topic we was gonna do this week. Actually,
That's actually a first, but yeah.
there we go.
This is Aura of the Night from NYTypical.net.
And this is LAX_ERA.
Your fashion consigliere.
Music producer extraordinaire.
This is us in Suede House. Hopefully the audio is beautiful, fam,
Yeah,
because
crystal.
our voices are bouncing in this
Yes,
room.
see me.
Bouncing. But yeah, peace, blessings, and salutations. This has been the Culture and Camaraderie podcast.